Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hiawatha number 1454-26D satin chrome plated flush pole is what this is. Nice quality looking item. Nice looking item. Good fit and finish. Less enamored with some of the particulate that's been painted over in the back cup, which I can see because I'm being judgmental. And that you probably can't really see much of on the camera, although you can a little bit. This order has two of them on it. I'm going to open them both up and look at both of them. Hiawatha, the name is associated with trim and auxiliary hardware. This one's cleaner, but not perfect. Obviously, having the screw package, even though it's isolated on the inside of that, that's not ideal because enough shaking, and that's, well, I suppose that might be a reach to say that it will mark that, but the inside of the cups are not pristine, meaning I've seen better. I know Hiawatha can do better as well, so as a result I'm pointing that out to you. And being somewhat judgmental is not normal for product reviews. However, this is finished hardware. It needs to look perfect, is the bottom line. And this would be a short step short of that, in fact. This one that you're holding up here, you can't even see that defect that I'm talking about, but you will with the eye, even though it's imperceptible on a high-definition camera. Okay, so now, moving forward, this is a flush pole. Where are you going to use this? Swinging doors, not really common, but swinging doors when you don't want any projecting hardware, where you might have a roller latch and pivots, center hung pivots, maybe offset. You would certainly use this in sliding doors. Now this is not handicap compliant at all, but the fact of the matter is there's no projecting hardware off of the face of the door except for the lip of the material itself. And these are called flush poles. Now there is a link below this video to a document called Installation, and let's get that document open as I put one of these back into its packaging. We're going to take a look at that, and while I'm playing for time, this is also, these flush poles are available in 6 finishes, and here we go. US 3 for polished brass, US 4 for satin brass, US 10 for satin bronze, US 10B for oil rubbed bronze, US 26 for polished chrome, and US 26D for satin chrome. This is the 26D for satin chrome. Now that link to the installation is going to give you the dimensional properties of both the unit itself and what they would like for you to do for a mortise, and let's verify all that. Overall height would be, they've got it at 3 1/4 on the drawing. This is why we double check, especially Hiawatha. 4 3/16 I would say the overall height. Overall width, about 2 11/16, and they're way off on that as well. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone to the manufacturer's website and confirmed that the template that they have now is correct, and by the time you're seeing this video, the template dated, there is no date on this, but the template that was there will be replaced by the correct template. Looking at that on their website, it is indeed 4 3/16 tall, and it is indeed 2 11/16 wide. Yeah, that's correct. Now, the mortise preparation. What they would like for you to do, total depth, by the way, is going to be about just less than 15/16. Forgive me, I was looking at the mortise depth. Depth of the body, they don't give, but you're looking at 5/8, plus the face of that's going to be pushing 11/16. Okay. The mortise preparation that they're looking for is going to be 3 and 29/30 long. So basically 3 and 7/8. I would say that that would be adequate because that body on the inside is about 3 and 3/4. The width, they want the mortise to be 2 and 13/32, so basically 2 and 7/16. And I would say that that would be okay as well. You know, what I like to do is, well, depending on if you're going to go in and square the corners when you do a preparation, if you're using a router, if you're going to square the corners, you can make them a little bit tighter. And I like to measure the hardware when possible because I don't want any extra slop involved. Because with an installation like this, the screws are only maybe 1 inch long, and I want them, as soon as they get through the hardware, to immediately start hitting wood as quickly as possible. And if you are manufacturing doors and you know that you're using these poles, you're going to want to have proper reinforcing for these because installing these to particle board would certainly not be appropriate. Now, the orientation of these is that the long face is where the recessed area for the fingers go. So you'll want to be mindful of how you're installing that. I would generally put that towards the center of the door or towards the lock side of the door because that's how I would be pulling it open. I would be using my hand to pull a right-hand reverse door open with my right hand, and conversely. That's how I would want to do that. I wouldn't want, you know, anyway, I think you see the point. You don't want to have that towards the hinge side of the door and then you're pulling it, you can't get a finger grip in there at all. So the size of the mortise that you do, and they've got 3/4 inch depth, I would say that that would be certainly adequate. And again, probably a little too deep would be my estimation. You don't need to go, well, no, in this case, 3/4 would be real good because you do have those rivets that are holding the piece of what I expect to be some sort of aluminum is what I expect that to be on the back side of that with those rivets in the corner. Mortising for this, obviously a router. Create a template out of wood, cut to the right size, allowing for the collet of your bit and whatnot. Make it so that you can flush it off to the edge of the door, and if you really wanted to be super lazy, make it so that you square it off to the top of the door and you've got the, or actually what would be appropriate, the bottom of the door, so that you've got a consistent center line at all times. So you've got this really long template that you can square off, square here, clamp it down, and then use your router, and your project, your mortising will be done in a handful of seconds. And if you go in and square the corners, then you'll have to square the corners. If you leave that mortise a little bit heavier like they've indicated, then you can probably get away without squaring the corners, making your time even shorter. And if you're going to make a fixture for doing these, you'll need to make that decision. If it was me, I'd be squaring the corners because I want that hardware to fit nice and tight rather than sloppily in there. Even though if you're going to not round the corners out of your preparation, this will still fit tight because you've got those square corners on there. Anyway, before you prep, make an audit of the rest of the height of the existing preparations in the space. You can imagine if you had a long hallway and you've got office doors on either side with lever locks, let's say, but then you've got a couple of sliding doors down this hallway. You don't want this to be at an unusual height when you're looking down the hallway itself. So review where you're going to place this. Residential installations place preparations like this at closer to 36-inch center line from the floor. Commercial applications are certainly closer to 39.5, 40-inch from the floor, in that range. So be mindful of where you're going to prep this. In terms of a back set, I probably would just follow standard 2 3/4 convention from the edge to the center line. There's no hard and fast rule about that. I would probably want to avoid any stile structure in the door, but of course, compromise in terms of the type of the door. You might have a 15 light door, and you're going to center it in that 5.5-inch style, so your back set will float as a result. Below this video as well, there's a link to the product brochure, which is handy because it will allow you to review all of the flush poles from Hiawatha. And there's a variety of different units that are here, and this one is specifically not handicap compliant, the 1454. And if you're looking for handicap compliance, you'll certainly want to be looking at the 1451 and the 1450, because those give you the space on the interior of the area, 5x5, that will make it handicap compliant. If you are looking for a privacy or passage set functionality in a sliding door like this, we can help you with that as well, and with handicap compliance. And reach out, we'll be happy to help you with that. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Hiawatha products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Hiawatha 1454-US26D satin chrome flush pole or any other Hiawatha product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.